I remember Mzee Kidevu. He would walk all the way from Uhuru to the Mombasa Environment and Land Court.
Mimi ni mkaaji wa Uhuru, naomba nafasi ya kuishi tena.
He really wanted to leave, but he lived along the wall that separated Metal Refinery and Uhuru. And therefore his chances were very low because his blood lead levels were too high. He ended up dying.
Mtoto vile nilimzaa akaanza kugonjeka kidogo kidogo, mwili ulikuwa moto, mtoto alikuwa anakohoa na anatapika. Nikampeleka hospitalini, akapewa tu madawa. Baada ya mwezi 8 nikampeleka hospitalini, akapimwa. Akapatikana ni mgonjwa. Baada alikuwa anagonjeka tu mpaka akaenda.
Sammy was very little when I met him. He was maybe around 2.5 or 3 years. And I greeted him when I went to Uhuru and asked him, "Umpendai?" And he said, "Ni wewe tu," meaning I love you only. Of course, I fell in love with Sammy. I was determined that Sammy would overcome the scourge of lead poisoning and live a full-grown life because he was a brilliant boy. He was always top in his class, in his baby class. Therefore, it was so sad when eventually Sammy succumbed to lead poisoning. And shortly after, his mother, Catherine Auma, also succumbed to lead poisoning. And that was after she had had a baby, and the baby died also at 10 months. Their house was directly at the direction of the wind from the smelter. So when the wind blew, the smoke, the lead would go directly into their house. So they suffered very tragically.
Cowards, they suffer a lot, but they live long. Sasa hiyo msemo wanachukulia kweli, sisi maskini tunahangaika sana na hii shida zetu za chini chini.
Last January, we spoke to Lynette Ouma, a resident of Owino Uhuru slum in Mombasa, a place whose residents have been falling ill and dying from lead poisoning, with the county and national government's full knowledge. She had fallen victim to the effects of lead poisoning already, having miscarried twice in 2 years. Miscarriages are common amongst women with elevated blood lead levels. Lynette's enduring wish was to have a baby.
And that we needed the ear of the president on this.
1 year after meeting Lynette, we've gone back to Owino Uhuru to check on her and everyone else. Her husband, Jackson, leads us to their home. He brings what's left of Lynette out. Lynette died shortly after giving birth.
Dadangu pale tulipiga mwaka mmoja, wa pili, wa tatu, napiga wa 4, dadangu akaanza na tumbo. Unaona. Na mimi mwenyewe tayari nilikuwa naondofika. Dadangu aliniambia kwamba wewe nenda, kwa sababu hali ya fedha ndani ya nyumba kwetu ilikuwa ni sote tukiacha kazi tutakula nini? Hakuna maisha mengine ni hiyo kazi. Bidi hata kama ni kufa tutakufa, lakini tufanye ile kazi. Unaona. sababu hali ya pesa ilikuwa.
Wakati walikuja kuweka hii mashini hapa, wenyewe hata kuja kujulisha watu wa mtaa. Sisi tuligutuka tu mashini imewekwa na inamwaga sumu.
I remember Bontown. Bontown was an activist. In every demonstration that we had, Bontown would be at the forefront. When I was arrested in 2012 and charged with inciting violence and illegal gathering, Bontown stood next to me in court because he was charged alongside me. He refused to leave me even when police were targeting me. He completely tried to protect me and stand with me during that time. And so he was arrested with me and arraigned in court together with other 11 charged with inciting violence and illegal gathering. Sadly, Bontown, his name was Julius Musembi, nicknamed Bontown, he died. He didn't see justice. I remember George, his brother Carissa, had died from lead poisoning. They worked at metal refinery and they knew that they were going to die. There's nothing worse than knowing you're going to die because their kidneys were gone, their livers were almost completely destroyed. And therefore, there's no way that they would have made it. So Carissa died first, I think in 2010, and then George also succumbed a few years later. I remember also Mzee Daudi. Mzee Daudi was passionate about land rights. He forced me to pay the land rates for the Winohuru community for 1 year because he told me that he believed that we would win the court case that was challenging the ownership of the land in Winohuru, which was contested by the Winohuru community on adverse possession. And of course the community won, but sadly, Mzee Daudi never lived to see that victory, despite him having fought so hard for that community. He did not see that victory because his house was also next to the house of Mzee Kidevu. They were right on the wall between Metro Refinery and the Winohuru community. So both of them died a few years later. These are just some of the people who died in Winohuru.
Ndio nikashtuka sana, ndio nikajua maumivu yenye nasikia kumbe inatokea kwa sababu ya sumu ya lead. Nikafika mpaka wakati huu sasa huwa nikaa tu ninauma maumivu ya mwili, ndio nikaanza growth ikaanza kugrow pole pole. Nilikwenda hospitalini nikapimwa, wakaniambia mpaka nini ya sumu shugetini, ndio nimeenda maybe kutolewa.
Mimi na mtoto nilimzaa akiwa na deformity ya miguu, nilimzaa akiwa na shida ya magoti, nilimzaa ikiwa iko nyuma.
Tumekuwa na safari za kila mara ili kutafuta uzima wa mtoto. Ameenda amefungwa plasta, amefungwa plasta mara nyingi sana, na ikafikia mahali tukaambiwa kwamba ni lazima afanyiwe operation. Sababu kubwa yenye ilikuwa inasababisha hii ni kwa sababu ya kwamba mimi niliathirika na lead poisoning nikiwa mfanyikazi wa metal refinery. Na tumekuwa na kesi kotini, High Court, tumeenda Court of Appeal, tumeenda mpaka Supreme Court na asasi za serikali. Tumeenda na tumefanikiwa kushinda kesi ambapo kwamba tulikuwa tunafaa kulipwa kama fidia. Tulishinda 2024 mwezi wa 12 tarehe 6. Na kufikia saa hivi yenye tunaongea ile fidia haijalipwa. Shida kubwa yenye iko hapo saa hii, ukiangalia mzongo wenye umetuzonga saa hii, sina kazi. Pesa yenye ingenisaidia ni ile ya Winohuru, pesa haijachiliwa mpaka saa hii. Sasa imekuwa ni mahangaiko, kila uchao madeni, kila uchao kilio, kwa sababu mtoto anastahili kuenda clinic kila wiki, kila Friday anafaa kuenda Portrees kwenda kufanyiwa mazoezi.
In Winohuru, lead poisoning is not merely a diagnosis. It's a death sentence imposed upon the most innocent families. Children are dying, mothers are gone, entire lives are being shattered. The courts ordered restorative justice. Yet the National Treasury and the responsible ministries and agencies continue to withhold action. This is the painful reality that the community is facing, where denial costs less than responsibility and inaction is chosen over justice. Your Excellencies, choose human life. The Principal Secretary of Health, State Department, Ms. Mary Mudhoni, you owe the Winohuru 130 million. You need to recognize that justice is not an optional add-on to public health. It is the foundation of it. The Principal Secretary, Ministry of Environment, State Department of Environment and Climate Change, Mr. Festus Ngeno, do plastics and oceans and forests supersede human life? This has been your logic. Yet all these efforts should be undertaken to preserve human life. You owe the Winohuru community 130 million. To the National Environmental Management Authority, NEMA, Bwana DG, you are custodians of the right to a clean and healthy environment. Justice remains central to this right. You owe the Winohuru community 520 million. Please pay, Bwana DG. To the Export Processing Zones Authority, sustainable development demands ensuring a healthy population that can service industry. It's not allowing industry to kill scores of communities while you try to cover for them. You owe the Winohuru community 130 million Kenya shillings. Please pay up. Your Excellency, President William Ruto, justice delayed is justice denied. The law has spoken. The courts have spoken. Now the nation awaits for your leadership. Honor the Supreme Court decision. Deliver justice to the people of Winohuru. Give the Winohuru their justice. You have recently given justice to victims of human rights violations. The Winohuru community also experienced grave violations. More than 300 Kenyans died. Please give justice to the Winohuru community.
Your Excellencies, choose human lives. Honor the Supreme Court judgment.